Welcome to Smash Fiction, the podcast where we pit two or more fictional characters against one another in a battle of strength, or wits, or hoarding really dangerous animals, and see who'd win. This week, Ash Ketchum versus Jurassic Park. It's a beautiful summer day in the Kanto region, and Ash and his friends have decided to spend it on a cruise ship headed towards Cinnabar Island. Well, Misty decided she desperately needed a tan, and Brock realized cruise ships always have at least one Nurse Joy on board, so he was all for it. Ash, however, is less than thrilled. He's already been to Cinnabar and is now, more than ever, feeling the itch of his addiction to catching and hoarding wild animals. After complaining loudly to Pikachu, who couldn't give less of a fuck, he is approached by two young adults who are heavily dressed in cliched tourist attire. The blue-haired man comments on the Pokeballs on Ash's belt and asks if he's planning on going to the Muertes Archipelago. Ash answers with his usual sincere confusion that he has in fact never heard of those islands. The red-haired woman reacts in over-the-top surprise at this and begins to gush about the incredibly rare Pokemon that can only be found on those islands. She holds out a crudely drawn map that vaguely shows where in the ocean these mysterious islands hide and insists Ash take it. He does with some hesitation and looks up to see the two mysterious tourists already walking away from him, wishing him luck on his journey to catch them all. Ash turns to look at Misty, struggling to get her Psyduck to stop blocking her sunlight, and then over to Brock, currently asking Nurse Joy for another ginger pill for the 24th time. The young trainer decides that it couldn't hurt to just take a look at those islands while his friends were preoccupied by their cruise. Ash brings out his Pidgeot, and he and Pikachu climb onto its back before it takes off toward their new adventure. Ash arrives safely at Isla Nublar, but will he fulfill his dreams of catching one of every type of its Pokemon? Or will the life on this island find a way to devour Ash and his Poke-friends? Hell if I know. That's why I, the Kit of the Mokarans, am your nostalgic judge for this match. Because seriously, one part of my childhood is going to try and eat the other part of my childhood. Am I supposed to have a nerd boner?
I certainly do.
Boners aside. Advocating for Ash Ketchum are Dan Mulcairn.
You yell at me and I'll yell at you. Smash Fiction. Just don't stop to think.
And Colin Mulcairn.
God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs. Boy catches dinosaurs in his little magical balls and then rides around on them and makes them enter fashion shows.
And advocating for Jurassic Park are our very special guests from the SupNerds podcast, Joshua Taulbee.
I spent a lot of time researching this fight. You could say I spared no expense.
Ugh.
And Spike.
Ketchum. Ash Ketchum. We got Ash Ketchum here. Nobody cares.
In order to determine which side goes first, I challenged both teams to join a fight club. Not with like an end goal in mind, I just wanted to see them beat the shit out of each other. However, someone on Team Ash broke the first two rules of Fight Club and got kicked out, thus ending my fun. How fucking hard is it not talking about Fight Club?
So hard!
Those rules were established before Twitter.
Anyway, Team Jurassic is going first since they're still on my good side. Alright, Spike and Taulbee, gotta eat them all.
Jurassic Park is not the family-friendly, fun-time world Ash is used to. These are not the quaddly whatsits Ash is used to fighting. Look, Pokemon are simply outclassed by dinosaurs. Let's look at the facts. The average weight for Ash's 6 Pokemon is 67.5 pounds, or about the size of a Labrador. But the dinosaurs were some big boys. Stegosaurus, 6 tons. Triceratops, 8 tons. T-Rex, 9 tons. Brontosaurus, 39 tons. True, Charizard weighs more than a Velociraptor, but let's face it, folks, there's never just one Velociraptor. Oh, but I know what you're thinking. What about Pokemon special abilities? What about them? Their powers and abilities usually just slightly wound their opponent, who is of comparable size. Besides, the dinosaurs already know most Pokemon's basic moves, except a T-Rex bite is always super effective. Plus, dinosaurs are equipped with natural weapons and instincts to either survive or commit mass murder. Velociraptors are intelligent pack hunters who can use tactics to kill their prey. In Jurassic Park: The Lost World, a pack of Velociraptors took out an entire team of trained men with guns. The T-Rex has the strongest bite of any animal living or extinct. A Stegosaurus may be slow, but because of its sheer size and strength, a single blow from its spiked tail would prove fatal. And then there's the real motherfucker, the Indominus Rex, a genetic hybrid made from T-Rex, Velociraptor, and other prehistoric badasses' genes. The Indominus Rex can camouflage herself kills because she can, is intelligent enough to plan her escape and communicate, withstood direct hits from a Gatling gun and a rocket launcher. Plus, she suffers from a serious case of pissed the fuck off. She can withstand anything the Pokemon will throw at her and will make a mid-afternoon snack out of poor little Ash. Because he is the real issue. To a lot of the dinosaurs, the Pokemon are a non-threat, and in case of the carnivores, Ash will be the real target. Why would a T-Rex concern itself with a butterfly when it could be swallowing that defenseless 10-year-old whole? In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park are big, strong, ruthless killers. While Ash is used to fighting for gym badges, the dinosaurs are used to fighting for survival. The dinosaurs' goal is not to knock out their opponent, it's to eat that delicious face meat.
Face meat.
Go, Spike!
Ash Ketchum, he's a man of my own heart. He's an idiot. Here's a little quote from his best friend Misty. "You're the worst. You have no idea what you're doing. Things will not just work out if you try hard enough." Because Ash is, in fact, good at try-harding over and over and over and blah, but he isn't going to get us any second chances in Jurassic Park world. Although Ash does learn a thing or two by the end of the show, eventually he does become, like the world's most okay Pokemaniac. That's what they're called, right? Pokemaniac? Yeah, okay. But his competence is only obtained over time through the help of his friends, random trainers, or some other form of exposition. Pokemon are part of everyday life for him, and he sets out wanting to be the very best. Yet he fails to understand even like the simplest concepts of Pokemon types. Every time he comes across a new Pokemon, he has to be told, "No, Ash, don't use old fire nuts against Drippy McWaterpants, a sword." If he's bad at everyday life, then how is he even alive? "No, Ash, we don't bathe ourselves in fire. We use water for that." You know what? Fuck it, go ahead. If his friends aren't there to tell him how to life, then the dinosaurs don't even need to do anything. Ash will most likely starve while trying to eat soup with a fork or something.
He's like in the Jurassic Park cafeteria. Like, oh, fuck.
Can't His stupidity is so apparent that the Pokedex, you know, the source of all knowledge in the Pokemon universe, calls Ash stupid. But do you know what is not stupid? Velociraptors. They're clever girls. They can change their sex. #life finds a way. They can open doors, which I'm pretty sure you never actually see Ash do. I could be wrong, but I don't think you actually see him do it. They ride motorcycles. That's what happens in Jurassic World, right? I don't know, I blacked out during that part. All Ash has going for him is the power of animal endangerment. He's so preoccupied with whether or not he could catch them all, he didn't stop to think of whether or not he should.
Aww. So, Team Ash, I heard you want to be the very best?
Being tasty.
If you were going to conduct a poll asking people whether they'd rather live in the world of Pokemon or the world of Jurassic Park, somewhere around 100% of them would say they'd rather live in the world of Pokemon because it's way, way safer. And you know what? 100% of those people are dead wrong. Imagine walking to work every day when, out of nowhere, a random pigeon attacks you for no discernible reason, and this pigeon is able to flap its wings hard enough to create a miniature destructive tornado. Picture going for a relaxing walk when a flower suddenly turns and begins launching razor-edged leaves at you in a bizarre display of territoriality. A lot of people like to make fun of Ash Ketchum's world because everything in it seems to be completely and unrealistically centered around the collection, training, and breeding of Pokemon. But can you blame them? Imagine living in a world where everything is unreasonably aggressive and possesses crazy supernatural powers. The only way for humanity to survive is to completely immerse themselves in the understanding of these ridiculous killing machines. So let's take Ash Ketchum, a boy who's explored every corner of this world on foot and has come away with multiple full sets of gym badges. He has proven himself to be a competent and capable trainer, able to quickly evaluate new and unpredictable opponents and guide his Pokemon to victory. He shows up on Isla Nublar ready for anything. Maybe there will be creatures here that breathe fire, or fire beams of ice, or have Bruce Lee-style fighting moves. There could be ghosts on this island, maybe creatures made of metal, or straight-up dragons. Imagine, then, his disappointment when he realizes that all of these creatures are basically normal types, maybe flying if we assume pterodactyls, whose moves are all some combination of scratch, bite, stomp, or horn attack. Not a single solar beam or hydro pump to be seen. Hell, this is Route 1 stuff. This is like straight out of Pallet Town, which is also the name of Ash's upcoming hip-hop album in stores 2017. I realize that my opponents believe that the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park are much more vicious than any Pokemon that Ash may have come across, and that some of them, particularly Velociraptors, won't cling to the one-on-one rules of Pokemon dueling that Ash is so used to, and may in fact attack Ash directly. None of that really matters. For one thing, Ash has been targeted and attacked by Pokemon, and often groups of Pokemon, from day one. In the very first episode of the anime, Ash is swarmed by a flock of incredibly aggressive Spearow. Ash's Pikachu manages to take out the entire flock with a single Thundershock. We see that Ash's Pokemon are also able to single-handedly take down all 3 of Team Rocket's Pokemon at once, as early as the second episode. But Ash is also comfortable using multiple Pokemon when Team Rocket and other cheating opponents don't respect the rules of the duel. But more importantly, there are some fundamental differences between the worlds of Jurassic Park and Pokemon that work strongly in Ash's favor. We see a ton of people get killed in Jurassic Park. Toilet-using lawyers, mailmen from Seinfeld, Mace Windu's. But you know who always survives these movies? Kids. Kids like Ash are always able to stay one step ahead of Raptors, T-Rexes, and whatever crazy hybrids they try to fit into the newer movies. Hell, kids are so immune to the perils of Jurassic Park that in the second movie, we see one kid take out a raptor with freaking gymnastics. It's super effective. The worst we see Jurassic Park do to a kid is when Tim gets electrocuted in the first movie, but Ash gets much worse from his own Pikachu on the reg. In the end, against a master like Ash Ketchum, Jurassic Park is not very effective.
So Ash's Pokemon are awesome. He's got 6 of them during this adventure. Let's run them down one by one and see why they all rock. So Pikachu. It's stated multiple times throughout the anime that Ash's Pikachu is special, a really unnaturally strong example of its species. So much so that Jesse and James of Team Rocket are convinced that if they can bring it into their boss, he will give them a massive promotion, to the point where they'll basically be set for life. Pikachu is so powerful and so valuable that Team Rocket tried and failed to capture it over 100 times, and then kept trying. Even Cruella de Vil would have given up by now. If Pokemon has taught us anything, it's that every type of creature has some sort of weakness. So what are the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park weak against? What force was used to keep the dinosaurs in check when the park was running smoothly? What was the thing that, when it went away, allowed all the dinosaurs to escape? Electricity! That's right. If an electrified fence can keep a Tyrannosaurus Rex in check, what do you think a direct blast of lightning from Ash's all-star player will do? Next up we have Bulbasaur, a veritable Swiss Army knife of fun powers. If Ash wants to disable a dinosaur to capture it, Sleep Powder. If Bulbasaur is injured and Ash wants to heal it without using up items, Leech Seed. If he wants to totally blow away a flock of pesky pteranodons with a blast of concentrated sunlight, how about Solar Beam? Then there's Squirtle, my personal fave, my original starter, Squirtle forever. Ash's Squirtle used to wear badass sunglasses and lead a gang of street-tough Squirtles called the Squirtle Squad. He was a menace to his local community before Ash helped him turn his life around. But he's still tough. Squirtle's from the streets. He'll kick you in the balls, he'll bite a motherfucker. Squirtle don't care. Next up, Charizard. So you have dinosaurs? We have a dragon. That's a flying dinosaur that breathes fire. Also, in episode 59 of the anime Volcanic Panic, we see Charizard pick up a Magmar and fly up like basically a mile straight up into the sky until Cinnabar Island below is like a dot, and he drops Magmar into a volcano. Also, in that episode, Charizard is seen stopping a Fire Blast, the strongest fire attack in Pokemon, with his bare claws. Also in that episode, Charizard swims through magma. No problem. Moving on. Next up, Pidgeot. As Dan mentioned, Pidgeot can make whirlwinds by flapping its wings. By riding on its back, Ash can scout around the island at his leisure and greatly reduce his chances of ending up in a Velociraptor ambush. Also, Pidgeots can fly at speeds of up to Mach 2. And then we have Butterfree. He's got String Shot and Harden and Stun Powder. Okay, he can't fly at Mach 2 or anything, but he's still a valuable member of the team and we're glad to have him. So, when I was doing research for this match, the one thing that occurred to me immediately was the fact that Pokemon are never seen dying during combat. When one Pokemon beats another, the loser is just seen fainting. So to me, this means one of two things. Either A, Pokemon all have really weak attacks that can't actually kill anyone, or B, Pokemon have really strong attacks, but they're also incredibly durable, and thus it's nearly impossible to kill a Pokemon by any means. And then I remembered Team Rocket. Team Rocket is able to survive getting shocked by Pikachu, getting barbecued by Charizard, and they survive getting blown up by bombs? About once per episode, Team Rocket gets flung up into the air and lands somewhere presumably miles away beyond the horizon, a fall that would undoubtedly kill any normal humans. And that's when it hit me. I was struck by a vision of the face of Bugs Bunny surrounded by a golden halo of light, and I said to myself, that's it. That's why we only ever see them fainting. They are cartoon characters. Pokemon and the
My God.
so-called humans that inhabit the world of Pokemon are not the same sorts of humans that live on our planet. They are incredibly elastic and resilient in a way that defies our current understanding of the laws of physics. Anything can happen to them, and they just shrug it off and move on. This can be seen in Super Smash Bros., where the tiny and adorable Pikachu is able to hold his own against the likes of Link and Samus. He can shrug off direct hits from sword spins and missiles. Check out our episode on Geralt versus Link if you want to hear me explain why being able to survive one of Link's spin attacks makes you so special. So, Pokemon are basically mythological creatures, and dinosaurs are basically animals. Extinct animals, which means that they were lame reject animals that were too lame to not be dead. And yeah, if Ash ever gets ambushed by velociraptors, he's just going to get scratched up, scream in a high-pitched voice, run away, and then we cut to him bandaging himself up, and in about 2 more scenes, it's like it never happened. And if Ash ever does die, all his Pokemon will just get together and cry their magic tears and bring him back from the dead.
All right, that was, damn. Colin, that was kind of bordering on godlike nonsense.
I didn't use the word.
I know, I noticed.
It's not my fault that the creatures that we are representing are so divine in certain attributes of theirs.
Deific.
One might say. Hold on, let me look at my thesaurus a bit more.
So yeah, I guess Jurassic Park, you gonna take that shit?
No, we will not. Your Honor, I am just a simple country velociraptor, backwoods test tube. But I do happen to know, Dan, you did say kids like Ash.
Yeah.
Those kids are not like Ash. Ash, as we established, is stupid. Those kids are pretty smart. And they only get away by running. They don't get away by winning and catching Pokemons or whatever. They get away by running away. So Ash would just die.
Well, those kids also don't have the resources of the aforementioned mythical creatures basically on their belt. I guarantee you, they would be much safer in Jurassic Park than they already basically are if they had a Squirtle or a Bulbasaur hanging around with them.
So another thing that you did bring up is Pikachu. Like you guys mentioned a lot, he is constantly zapping people and they are living through it. You know who else gets zapped? Like the first scene of Jurassic Park, the Velociraptor is getting zapped by how many, like 8 or 9 cattle prods? You know, if a human being gets zapped by one cattle prod, they could possibly die dead forever. But there's a Velociraptor getting zapped by like 8 cattle prods over and over and over, and I'm pretty sure that's less than the actual voltage and amperage that a Pikachu produces. Also, Colin, you did say that you have a dragon. You have a tiny dragon, a little tiny fly-like dragon compared to, if we were talking D&D terms, they would be gargantuan. There's Apatosaurus, Brachiosaurus, and Mantia. I think that last one might be made up, but it's
Yeah, those aren't real, like, Pokemon.
Yeah, they're not real Pokemon. They're all in the multiple tonnage range, well over anything that a tiny little dragonfly would do to anything.
Except most of those big ones are a lot less hostile, you know.
Really?
I mean,
like the Mosasaur, which in Jurassic World eats a great white shark in one bite.
Oh, yeah, that's a water type, isn't
Yeah.
it? Let's see, we have a grass type and we have an
Yeah,
electric.
let's put one of those fuckers in the water with that thing. And see how
Pikachu's
long
not
they're
getting in the water. He's just going to zap it.
But Misty and Brock aren't there to tell Ash, hey, you should probably use an electric. He's going to be over there using the worst Pokemon like...
I'm glad you brought up Ash's supposed idiocy and also Misty and Brock, because I would argue that the Ash we see in the anime is well below what Ash is actually capable of. So the Ash we see is constantly distracted by his secret attraction to Misty, and I think he does stupid things because he thinks it will impress her. And look, he may actually also be attracted to Brock. I mean, you know, he might have a thing for people who just squint constantly, but, you know, that might be a different conversation. But I think those two drag him down more than they build him up.
I think that your best argument would have been had you said Pikachu was in charge. I don't think that, no, Ash, no, don't believe it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your Pokemon here. You have Bulbasaur, right? In the world of Jurassic Park, there are a ton of herbivores that are much larger than Bulbasaur. His Razor Leaf would just bounce off of a brontosaurus leg, and then that creature is going to be like, oh, look at that beautiful bulb growing on the back of that creature, and it's going to start eating it. And the other thing, you mentioned Pidgeot. Let's look real fast at his Pokedex entry. When hunting, it skims the surface of water at high speeds to pick off unwary prey, such as a Magikarp. His claim to fame is that he can take out Magikarp? That is
what about
not
the
that
part
impressive.
The part about flying at Mach 2, how does that sound?
Okay, he can fly really fast. You know what happens when an object travels at high speeds and runs into an object that's like 39 tons? It's going to go splat.
Here's the thing. A lot of those really big Pokemon that you guys are referencing are herbivores, as you pointed out. They're not carnivores, with a couple of notable exceptions, which we'll get to. But in terms of those, in the anime, you see that Ash is kind of like... He has a tendency to really befriend the Pokemon that he runs into. Like a lot of the Pokemon he's carrying in this very match, he didn't actually catch. He befriended them. He showed them that he was worth traveling with and going around with. And I kind of feel like we might see some of that from, like, the Triceratops or the Stegosaurus,
Well,
you know?
I'll admit, yeah, chances are there are some dinosaurs that Ash is going to be able to catch pretty easily. Gallimimus. Yeah, all right, he can catch a Gallimimus. But one of the fatal flaws here, like we were saying, is Ash and the way he fights a battle. While Ash is yelling out commands, the dinosaurs are just going to be running for his face. They don't need a trainer to tell them what to do because of their instincts. They already know what to do.
And the friendly creatures that he might befriend, if he starts like throwing Pokeballs at their young or at them, those are pack creatures. Like Triceratops, they live in a pack environment, and if you mess with one of them, you mess with all of them. So
we learned that during League.
Something with horns there, like you mess with one horn, I can't think of it.
And it has been shown in every single Jurassic Park movie that even if prey, like people, get away, dinosaurs are vindictive, grudge-holding bastards. They'll come back time and time again, usually attacking at the most inopportune time for their prey.
Hashtag life finds a way. That's the rest of our argument. Life finds a way.
All right, Team Ash.
You guys are really leaning on the large dinosaur thing, but, like, they're just not going to be intimidating to Ash and his friends. You know, in the anime, there's this episode where they end up on an island filled with normal Pokemon, but that are giant, like the size of buildings. There's another time where they fight a Tentacruel that's, like, Godzilla-sized. Like, this is all stuff that they've encountered before. Like, just being big is not going to be enough.
Yeah, but are those big Pokemon trying to eat Ash?
As I recall, in the actual opening of the anime, you see a scene where the Tentacruel knocks a building over with one of its tentacles. No dinosaur in Jurassic Park even comes close to that level of scale or strength.
Man. Work with me.
Yeah, but that's
all the more shame.
That's not deliberately attacking Ash. That's just causing collateral damage.
All right.
Fine. Brock's metal band, collateral damage.
Yeah.
You mentioned you got that Indominus Rex. You know, once per game, Ash gets his hands on a Master Ball. And if there's ever any, like, one nasty type of legendary creature that's just, you know, clearly the best and the most awesome one, you just throw a Master Ball at it and you automatically catch it every time. So, I mean, he's going to come across that guy.
That's
him in
an
the Master
interesting
Ball.
point, except that we were told specifically that Master Balls would not be a part of this scenario.
I was not around when that was covered.
No, that was mentioned in the convo.
Oh, Ash, he doesn't get his one Master Ball?
Your Honor.
No one Master
I
Ball.
call shenanigans.
Your Honor, I was told no Master Ball.
Fine. Then we got Butterfree can make it go sleepy sleep, and then we catch it.
That's like giving a Xanax to an elephant.
I don't know, dude. That Butterfree can put an Onyx to sleep. And an Onyx doesn't even have, like, a circulatory system. It's just a thing made out of rock, but the Butterfree can put it to sleep.
Have you performed autopsies on onyxes?
You don't know, man.
All right, so I've been watching a lot of Pokemon over the last week, and I noticed a weird pattern. When Ash challenges Gym Leader Brock, he first receives advice from a mysterious bearded man who turns out to be Brock's father. Later on, when he challenges Gym Leader Sabrina, he receives advice from a mysterious bearded man who turns out to be Sabrina's father. Now, in this case, if this pattern holds, it's very possible that he'll be approached with advice from a mysterious bearded man who turns out to be John Hammond,
right,
the father of all the dinosaurs on the island.
Yeah, because he always has the best advice. Hey, we should send out my kids out to, like, just roam around the Jurassic Park.
Well, hey, those kids are still alive today.
Only because they had an expert
things
with them.
He could tell him some things about his dinosaurs, because unlike every child on Earth, Ash does not know anything about dinosaurs, but Hammond would tell him, right?
Pokemon.
I just got this image of John Hammond with that walking stick, but instead of, like, the piece of amber, there's a Pokeball on the top, and I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Hello, I'm Dr. Hammond. Some people call me the dinosaur professor. Are you a boy or a girl?
Yeah, John Hammond also thought that being there when the dinosaur was born would make the dinosaur trust them.
That was Star-Lord's whole strategy in Jurassic World, and it seemed to work out pretty well for him.
No, that was Andy Dwyer. You got them mixed up.
Oh, Andy Dwyer. My bad. You know, actually, his character in Jurassic World is like equal parts Andy Dwyer and Star-Lord.
Mike, take it away.
Well, I've told you my theory, right? That Jurassic World is a day in the life, like a day in the mind of Andy Dwyer. He's just imagining himself like Burt Macklin, Velociraptor trainer and FBI agent. I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
None of the dinosaurs we really see ever having any sort of attacks on the level of the sort of things that the Pokemon are able to shrug off all the time. Like, we see, like, Pikachu has the ability to literally call down bolts of lightning from the sky. Like, actual bolts of actual lightning.
Life finds a way.
And, like, Charizard swims through magma and can break through, like, stone blocks with his head. Nothing that you guys have thrown out seems to even get close to the sort of power level that the Pokemon deal with all the time.
Except, like, all the stuff that you mentioned that they're going up, like a rock. All right, it's just going to sit there and let it do it. But you're talking about, like, velociraptors who are really intelligent and can strategize. They're not just going to stand there and be like, oh, look, this dude is going to come up and...
Can they say their own name? Can they say Velociraptor? When
You also have, like, the Dilophosaurus in Jurassic Park who spits venom that blinds its opponent immediately and then makes his prey paralyzed. Thank you.
Yeah, and what's that item that automatically reviews it, gets rid of any status anomalies?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing a Pokemart in Jurassic Park?
We established also in the opening conversation that he has a decent supply of items on him.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. I wasn't paying attention.
Just apparently not Master Ball, which no one told me.
Yeah, that's right. That sword cuts both ways.
All right. I think now I hear something.
What do you hear, Kit?
T-Rex.
Oh, hey, shit, maybe you're right. It's the T-Rex, wait, no, it's lightning round. Someone grab a cup of water. Is it, like, moving in a steady beat rhythm?
That's not thunder. It's a T-Rex. Oh, no, wait, it's thunder.
What if it's thunder and a T-Rex?
A lightning T-Rex.
God help us.
What has science done? The T stands for Tesla.
Tesla Rex.
Oh my god, that is so fucking
that's
metal.
going to be in the
That is
next
a band.
Jurassic Park movie, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
Teslasaurus Rex.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been crossbred with a Pikachu, and it's a T-Rex that spits lightning.
Pikachu DNA.
Oh, yes, that scientist guy's going to come on and say, we had to fill in some of the sequences with Pikachu DNA.
Which, let's face it, if, like, Ash brought Pokemon to the island, InGen would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I am sorry in advance for how very, very strange this is going to be, but
Hey.
seriously, what the hell kind of lightning round am I supposed to make for Jurassic Park anyway? Ash manages to find some respite in an area that seems free of dinosaurs, for now, and begins searching through his backpack for items that could help his Pokemon recover. At this point, all he has left are a dozen or so lava cookies that he bought from a blue and red-haired couple of merchants on the cruise ship. Hungry and desperate, he offers them to his Poke friends and eats one himself, when suddenly a stealthy pack of raptors erupt from nearby ferns. Ash and his Pokemon struggle to fight back as they retreat, and some of the raptors give pursuit. Not all give chase. Some have stopped to inspect the very good-smelling cookies that were abandoned in the panic. 7 raptors gobble down the treats as the camera ominously fades to black. Next morning, which so happens to be a Friday, the bright sun shines onto the scaly eyelids of Ash and his Pokemon, waking them from their fitful sleep. Wait, they're all covered in scales? Yes. As the friends look upon each other, they find themselves to be in the bodies of Jurassic Park's velociraptors. And yes, all the former Pokemon can only speak by saying fragments of the name Velociraptor. Ash can only speak using normal Velociraptor sounds, though.
I do like that he's less competent than his Pokemon.
Meanwhile, 7 raptors are waking up to find themselves in the powerful yet adorable bodies of the creatures they were hunting the day before. Except the one that got Ash's body. He's just waking up to puberty. Awkward. That's right, fuckers. Y'all just got Freaky Friday'd. Whoa! How will your groups fare in their missions now? Will the now raptorized Ash and friends figure out how to reverse their situation? Or will the new trainer and its Pokemon finally get to eat their prey? Or maybe both sides have other plans in mind? Tell me what happens, because I have no idea where I was going with this scenario.
Kit, we're no longer friends.
Dan and Colin, is this your destiny?
I know it's my destiny.
Yeah, so I think that this lightning round favors us quite a bit because they talk about, how smart these velociraptors are because they can, like, open doors and shit. Pokemon can understand English, and they just can't speak it. All they can do is just sort of make sounds or say their own name. So Pokemon basically already have Chewbacca-level intelligence, and he's a starship engineer, so just saying. I think that this is going to favor the Pokemon very well, because as we've already established, the Pokemon are already very intelligent. Now they're all in Velociraptor bodies. And although the Velociraptors are in Pokemon bodies, as you established yourself, that makes them very tiny. And some of them are kind of slow. And they do have these special attacks, but with their, large for a dinosaur, but small for anything else, Velociraptor-sized brains, I don't know if they'll have time to figure out how to use all their weird magic-y powers, like shooting lightning and making stun spores and stuff, before they get eaten up by the aforementioned Velociraptors. Dan, any thoughts?
You touched on a good point that I'd like to expand on, and that's the fact that Ash and his friends have ended up in bodies which are dangerous but relatively simple. The Velociraptors have ended up in bodies which are dangerous and very complex. And also, they're all very different from one another. I imagine that both sides will need some time to get used to their new bodies and figure out what they can do before they end up fighting each other. Ash and his friends will be able to work together to find out collectively what their bodies can do. So if Bulbasaur Velociraptor manages to, find out a good way of using his claws, the entire group benefits. But if, by some miracle, the Velociraptor in the body of Pikachu manages to figure out how to use, like, Thundershock, it only benefits him. And that's if he figures out how to do it, which, again, these powers are much more complex than anything the Velociraptors have ever had to do. I think that Ash and his Pokemon are going to figure out a much more effective way of using their new bodies, while basically the Raptors are still going to be stuck on using Sand Attack and Growl by the time they get jumped.
If they don't all kill each other because they don't recognize each other and are not used to teaming up with things that don't look like them.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Spike and Taulbee, holy fucking shit, you're Pokemon and a tween. What now?
Your Honor, I would like to use the Indominus Rex defense.
All right.
Now,
it's in Latin,
I'll allow
so I'll allow it.
Because everyone was supposed to gasp, and then Kit was supposed to, yeah. But so everything involved in this situation now either was a raptor or has some raptor DNA. So, as we see in Jurassic World, who controls Raptor House? The Indominus Rex controls Raptor House. Unless you have Andy Dwyer, which I do not see one, Your Honor. I do not see Andy Dwyer. So, yeah, they're basically going to square off. And honestly, our Poke dudes, yeah, they would definitely have some time like, what does this zappy thing do? They would have a little struggle, but Indominus Rex would just show up and be like, "Bah, bah," and then everybody would be like, okay, you're our boss now. So, Ash may not die, but Indominus Rex wins, and that is a dinosaur, and that is Jurassic World. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Actually, one of the things I find that's really important here is that the Velociraptors have an already intimate knowledge of the island, and they have been shown that they don't need to directly attack an opponent. At this point, yes, you're right, they would be at a disadvantage because there's a lot of things that they don't know how to do. But what they do know is where the other giant meat-eating dinosaurs are. And they will lure...
The Asheraptors.
The Asheraptors. The Asheraptors. They will lure the Asheraptors into a place where they will be eaten, like by a Mosasaur in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. Yeah.
And also, the Ashosaurs, they do not have the one most important thing that raptors... because raptors are little killing machines, yes. They're very powerful, but that's not what makes them deadly. It's the group tactics. Pokemon don't... They generally don't concentrate on group tactics. They concentrate on one-on-one battles. They do not have the coordination. They just wouldn't stand a chance.
And at this point, it begs the question, since the Pokemon can now only say Velociraptor, and Ash can only use Velociraptor sounds, can the Pokemon even understand the orders that they rely on from Ash to fight?
Hey, Taulbee.
Yeah.
Life finds a way, man.
No!
All right. It's time for me to retire to my secret island where I've been resurrecting extinct animals and genetically modifying them to have elemental powers. I may very well never come back, but if I do, I'll tell you who won here. Anyway, goodbye. Swat, 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 swat. That's my helicopter.
So I had an idea the other day while I was working on this, guys, and I was like, you know, like, what if InGen had bred, like, a Tyrannosaurus?
Tyrannosaurus!
So, like, what if they bred a T-Rex, and they were like, this is the most deadly, ferocious killer ever, but it was actually, like, a Pokemon, and it came out of its egg like, Sweet Pea! It was just like, it had like an adorable, cute name that when it was like biting the lawyer in half was like, Sweet Pea Crunch, death.
That's
You know, you can make that happen pretty easily with Photoshop and a copy of Jurassic Park.
I was gonna say just redub it so that whenever the dinosaurs open their mouths, like it's chasing behind the Jeep and you see it in the little rear view mirror and it opens its mouth and goes, Sweet Pea.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm all about that, man. I would pay to see that movie again.
I'm gonna say the thing that people on podcasts always say: make it happen, the internet.
Yes, please.
which I'll probably do it.
All right.
Do it, Spike.
And I was also wondering, like, who do I feel sorry for more in this situation? Because I had to watch several horrid movies that are really long, but you had to watch Pokemon. So I don't know, like, who had it worse.
I watched both.
Yeah,
so,
I was watching Pokemon while researching Jurassic World, and I was like, you know, I'm a geology major. This is going to fuck me up somehow. I'm like taking a test and be like, Mosasaurus. He's his lightning attack. Go! No! God damn it, Spike.
You do a lot of dinosaur tests in geology?
No, I've actually already taken my fossils class.
Oh, okay.
Way to ruin the joke there, Dan.
If it doesn't make sense, it's not funny.
Right?
Did you resurrect a Kabutops or anything while you were in there?
Yeah, how's your aerodactyl
Day one, you just resurrect all the fossils. We didn't point out, like, that the dinosaurs would probably be either a fossil or bird-type Pokemon.
I think you guys could have maybe made an argument for rock-type, because all the dinosaurs in Pokemon are rock-type, but I think that's because they were, like, resurrected directly from fossils. Right. So, like, your guys are resurrected from mosquitoes, so does that make you all bug-type?
Bug-types, as we know, suck against just about everything. So.
Yeah, basically.
Then no, they're
just teach your Jolteon Pin Missile, and then you never need a bug-type Pokemon.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot more thinking about Pokemon recently than I've done since about middle school.
Yeah.
I was never that into Pokemon.
Man, but I was super into Pokemon.
Yeah, I was too.
Did you catch them all?
I did on Red and Blue, and then I got about halfway into Gold, I think, and then that was the end of my story.
I've been packing. I'm moving to a new house, and I opened up a box today, and I found my collection of Pokemon cards. I still have those things. Like the gem of my collection has always been I have a foil Zapdos first edition.
Ooh.
First edition.
Nice.
Ooh, man.
It's worth.
You can retire on one of those, dude.
It's worth like $10.
My friends and I have a Chansey card, and when we're playing like Magic the Gathering, we'll sometimes like secretly substitute it into someone's deck. They'll like unsleeve one of their cards and put Chansey in instead, and it's just like a sort of recurring practical joke that we have.
Did you have Mew?
Yeah, I had Mew.
I did not have Mew. I was not cool enough.
Yeah, that was like the only time I ever felt like a huge nerd was when I went to Allen Theaters with my Game Boy. So because that was like the promotion. Like if you went and saw the Pokemon movie, they had like a machine there that would put Mew onto your game.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that was how it worked.
Yeah.
I got it from a friend of mine. I think I traded it for like a Kadabra or something like that. Like it was not at all a fair
Got
trade.
it for a Rattata. That guy was an idiot.
It was kind of funny though, because like once you get all 150, there's still one more to get. And that's Missing No.
I know.
And it's like
I couldn't think of the name of it this whole time.
No.
It's the sort of thing where like once you've gotten all 150, like there's only one mountain left to climb, and it will kill your game. But it's like I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna choose how I'm gonna go out, and that's gonna be by summoning an eldritch entity into my game.
Dan, I remember
today.
Yeah, Dan, I don't know if you remember this very much, but I remember back in the days when I was like in middle school and you were in high school, you actually ran a Pokemon RPG for me, and I caught a Missing No in it.
Yep, I remember that.
Yes, and I enjoyed the fact that he was like broken and breaking reality around him, and I would carry him around.
He was a hole in reality, I think is what
the RPG after that, though? I feel like you should have.
Yeah, right.
It's like catch missing number, and then,
It's like one day Colin walks up to me afterwards and is like, hey, Dan, when are we going to do the Pokemon RPG again? And I just look at him and I say, what Pokemon RPG?
What's your name again? Are you a boy?
Oh, that'd be great. My save file got corrupted. No!
That's right.
Back to old Squirtle. Squirtle's my favorite, too.
Yeah, Squirtle's the best.
Really? I always like Scyther.
It's funny you mentioned Scyther. I totally combined one with a Velociraptor on my island, and it's killed so many people. It's beautiful.
A flying raptor. Clever girl.
All right, so I was away for so long because this was like way harder than I was expecting it to be. You guys both did amazing jobs. I was not expecting like certain arguments.
Nobody expects a Dominus Rex defense.
But I think after much deliberating, and I feel like I'm still going back and forth in my mind, but I have to settle on something. So I'm going to have to give this to Jurassic Park.
Boo!
In your face!
Nope, wrong decision.
Life finds a way.
That's definitely going to get hashtagged in all the promotions. But
Nice beating you.
I really started out like thinking like, oh my god, Pokemon are going to kick their ass. But I was also not expecting the Ash is a fucking idiot argument.
Nice.
You guys, I mean, both sides were pulling arguments I was not expecting, and this was like as fun as I was hoping it would be. So
yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to join us.
Yes.
You are absolute naturals about screaming and arguing about totally useless subjects.
That's what we do on our podcast.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I've listened to it, and it's fantastic.
Oh, thanks, guys.
I'm a huge fan of the SupNerds podcast. That's the one they're on. It is spelled SUP and then nerds. You better know how to spell nerds, you fucking nerds. You guys basically just pick a few topics, usually nerdy, and
we just
say hilarious things about them.
Yeah. We try to say hilarious things. Sometimes it falls really short, but yeah, it's kind of just me and Taulbee. We had the idea because we would hang out before role-playing games, and we would just come up with the funniest, stupidest stuff. And we're like, you know what? We should just record this and see if it's like podcast worthy. So we we each pick like a topic, but lately it's been like we pick like 3 small-ish topics or just kind of do whatever.
Yeah, and it's not so much like a scripted podcast. We really wanted to have a feel of like what it's like to have like just your friends in the same room who are just bullshitting.
Just the pure insanity of being in a room with me and Taulbee alone.
Yeah. For me, I love it because like I love this sort of podcast where you can just put it on and it feels like you're engaged, but it's not like super scripted.
It feels like you have friends. So if you're like me and you don't really have any friends, it's like, oh yeah, you could.
So SupNerds, is it only found on YouTube right now?
Actually, I just got it up on iTunes, but I don't know. Like I haven't checked on it. Like they did the process period thing or whatever. I don't know. I don't understand iTunes too well.
By the time this episode hits, you guys should be up on iTunes.
Yeah, I've got like 2 episodes up. Like I'm going in order, but I also have to go backtrack and kind of record it off of YouTube because I had deleted all the files.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's something.
That's Spike.
Words. I'm having a stroke, guys.
Well, yeah, it was awesome. Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. We got to do this again.
For sure.
You guys were on our podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
We were?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And
do you not remember?
And we definitely want to keep doing this. We definitely want to have you guys back on our show, and we'd love to come back to yours.
Oh, it'll definitely happen.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It'll happen.
Shit, I'll come on whenever you want. Dan doesn't have to be there.
She's cheating podcasts on you?
It's okay. We have an open podcast relationship.
Wait,
That's healthy.
Are we Kit's side podcast?
Instead of
a side chick, we're your side podcast?
You my side bitches.
All right, I'm all right with that.
Thank you all for listening to Smash Fiction this week. Next week, John Constantine versus Harry Dresden.
Smash Fiction is produced by Miles Schneiderman, with logo design by Colin Mulcairn.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for our theme song, which is called Hitman. You can find his work at www.incompetech.com.
You can follow the Smash Fiction podcast on Twitter at SmashFicPodcast and search for us on Facebook and Tumblr.
Subscribe on iTunes, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
while Ash is used to fighting for gym bashes. Why can I say badges?
We don't need no stinking badges.
All right. Thank you.